what I'm about to tell you guys, like, this is probably the this is probably the most disgusting thing that you could do to somebody's emotions. This is the most nasty thing that I think a person could do to a person, because it's like, you know how much this person cares about you, and you doing this alone, and what occurred after is just disgusting.
I want to know who motherfucking representing here tonight.
What is poppin', Nova Nation? It's your girl Kierra Cassanova, and I'm back with another YouTube video. So this is going to be a story time. I know the title is going to be like, okay, Key, what the fuck? It's finally that time. It's finally the time that I tell you the story. It's finally the time. I think I am mentally prepared to tell this story. I think I'm okay to tell this story. I think I'm completely and ultimately, like, just, I'm done. This is the last day that I talk about this, like, human being alone. This is the last time. It is a day before my birthday, and a lot of bullshit has been going on YouTube and shit, and unhealthy relationships and blah blah blah, all that stuff. So I decided, you know what, let me tell my story, because regardless if there's probably one person going through something similar, there's probably somebody that doesn't know what to do in this type of situation. So I'm just going to tell the story. There's been a misunderstanding of when I talk about this situation, because I've talked about this situation a lot, and I do talk about it because I think this is the most traumatizing thing that's ever happened to me regarding a relationship. It's been like that, really, and that's my truth, you know. So when I talk about this situation, I try not to speak on the person. I speak more on what happened to me, and I guess that got mixed up for people to think that I'm constantly talking about him, which is false. I'm talking about the effect. So that is what I'm going to talk about. But yes, of course, I have to talk about this human being as well, but I'm just letting it clear the air because people just have some fucked up misunderstandings. So right, I'm trying to like get into everything that happened. So a lot of you guys know I'm not really with relationships. Relationships aren't really for me. They never really go right. I don't do well with males. Me and males, we're just not okay. I mean, and it's not even love-wise. I mean, me and males just don't have a good relationship whatsoever when it came to my father, and they always just leave, you know, regardless. Now that I have my dad back in my life, like, regardless of that, it's just males always leave. My uncle passed away, for God's sakes, and that, I feel like I'll get into that because that did affect me as well, because the breakup was like right there and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm just gonna talk about this situation, and I don't know where to. Okay, I'm gonna start from the beginning. I'm gonna be completely honest in this video. Anything that I've said or anything, I take full responsibility for, and yeah, that's just that. I'm gonna just hop right in. So I think when I was 16 years old, was it 16 or 15? I don't know, I think it was 16 or 15. My best friend had a birthday party, and basically I went with his girlfriend at the time, and we went to this birthday party. And my best friend's girlfriend at the time and her friend were talking about his brother, and they were just talking about him, and I was like, who is this, blah blah blah, whatever, all that stuff. And he ended up coming to the party, and then he was constantly like beside me. I remember, like, he was beside me this one time. I was like, oh, he's pretty cute, like, whatever, but I just didn't get the hype. So later on, I guess, he added me on Snapchat, and then we started to talk on Snapchat. And he was just trying to flirt with me, but at the time I was talking to Blue Hearts. Oh, I forgot to give him a name. We're gonna name him Fuckboy, because that's just the true definition of one. So anyways, I was talking to Blue Hearts at the time, and I was like, yeah, no, I don't want to deal with this, like, you know. So I was just, you know, slightly curving him, because I'm like, nah, it's not about to go like this. So I don't remember how we got back in contact, but I think a year went by, and we ended up like FaceTiming a lot, and talking a lot, and we built a really good friendship. I'm gonna say a friendship. And constantly he would try to holler at me, like, and be like, oh, why won't you take me serious, blah blah blah. And I just was like, no, I'm not interested. No, 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 no. It was just a constant no, nigga, no. But we would always play around and be like, yeah, you're my husband, you're my wife. Like, you know what I mean? So it was just like little playful, like, games that we were playing with each other. And that lasted for like, I think about like 2 years, I'm gonna say. Or a year and some change. Because, yeah. And then something happened and we stopped being friends for such a long time. And then I think I apologized. And then we started being friends again. It was just a crazy thing. So I think I feel like we started talking in a December of it's 2018, 2017, 2016. So December of 2016 we started talking a lot more and FaceTiming more, and I guess I was considering speaking to him on that type of level. And then I remember this, Valentine's came and I made a thing about nobody sent me Valentine message or some stupid shit like that, and my best friend sent me one. It was the cutest thing ever. He sent me one, and so did Fuckboy. So Fuckboy sent me one, and his was just playful and it was just funny, so we played around and Then he was like, oh yeah, when are you really gonna take me seriously? And I was like, no, like, you know, just regular. And then finally I, like, the next 2 days I was thinking hard about it, because I'm like, should I, you know, I want to live my life, like, should I take chances? Because I was going through a whole entire, like, again, getting out of a toxic situation and not wanting to be hurt again and all that stuff. So I messaged him and I was like, okay, what if I told you that, you know, I messaged him and I said, are you serious about every time you say to me, like, you want to be with me, blah, 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 blah? And he's like, yeah, I am. And I said, what if I told you I'm willing to, like, give us a try? Like, and he thought it was a prank at first, because I was still doing YouTube, but not as big as I am now. And I just was starting my YouTube, and I think he thought it was a prank. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure he thought it was a prank. And I was like, no, I'm being serious, like, all this stuff. So we ended up having a really long conversation. I told him about everything that he is gonna expect and everything that I want in a relationship. I know that might seem a little intimidating, but I knew that, like, I did not want him to have any excuse for anything about what I want, like, anything. So I told him I want my relationship to be completely honest. I want communication. We need to talk about everything. I don't like fighting. I told him if there's a problem, you know, we got to talk to each other about it. He agreed. I told him about me being abstinent, because I was abstinent at the time. I said, you know, like, at this moment in time, I'm not ready to jump into anything sexual. I would like to know my partner mentally and verbally and spiritually and connect with them before I get into anything, because I feel like we could really build a bond. And he agreed. He had a little, you know, he was like, oh, you know, it's going to be kind of hard, but, you know, I'm about it. And I was like, okay. And I told him everything about, I suffer from my depression, my this, my that. I told him everything, my anxiety. He's like, yes, I understand, blah, blah, blah. And I told him, like, please, like, if you're gonna waste my time, let me know from now, like, and then we could just end this whole thing, because I really, like, I can't deal with another heartbreak. And I said that, and, you know, I feel like that was a mistake that I made, showing my weakness, to be like, yeah, you know, I don't want to deal with this is not something that, you know, I want to go through again. That was a weakness of mine, and I shouldn't have showed it. And, you know, he agreed, and he was like, I'm not gonna hurt you, I promise. And then I always said this, every time he promised me something, I always said, don't make promises you can't keep. I could say I always said that. Then we started talking. I was falling in love with this human being, and I was just completely infatuated with this being. And I tell you guys, like, I was completely infatuated. This was the love of my life. Like, I literally, at the time, not anymore, but I literally could say, like, I was just so in awe. I was like, this person is the most perfect person. This is everything that I've asked for. I was thanking God. I was, you know, I was doing the most. I was really, like, just happy. I was on cloud 9 every time I was with him, because he went to school overseas. So every time I was with him, it was just wow. Like, I felt the love, and I I was like, this is, you know, you're mine. It was just easy as that. And there was a lot of problems that happened in our relationship, but I mean, we talked about it as we always would. We talked about it if there was something wrong, and we were on it. Well, I was honest in the relationship, and you know, I tried to be there for him as much as I could. I don't feel like I asked for much, but I mean, hey, whatever. But one problem that was in the relationship was that he would never post a picture of me whatsoever. Like, never. Not even for my birthday, never. Like, he never posted me on social media. And I never posted him because I was thinking, okay, this is my relationship. I don't really like people jumping in, because I just have a problem with the city that we live in, is because the second that you post that you're talking to somebody, just rumors and all that stuff come into the relationship and people get involved, and it's just messy. So I tried to keep it as secret as I could, but it didn't end up that way. It was like, okay, when I was ready to be like, okay, you know, we know so much, we know everything about each other, rumors and all that stuff, that if somebody brought some dumb shit to us, that it wouldn't taint anything. We would just laugh at them and be like, yeah, you thought. That's what I believed, and I thought I was being told the truth and all of that stuff, which I wasn't, but whatever. Somebody in my family told me that I should invite him to the family gathering. So it was my little cousin's birthday party, and yeah, so I invited him. I asked him if he was comfortable to meet my family. I asked him if it was okay, and he said yes, he's about it. At the time, my uncle was alive, and this is probably my biggest regret ever. I wanted my uncle to walk me down the aisle when I got married, and I wanted him to meet my husband, because my uncle had such a strong impact on my life, and it really makes me feel horrible that, you know, this is the last man you saw me with. This is the last male that you saw me with alive. Like, you know, it just crushes my heart that, you know, I introduced him to somebody like this. Like, that's just the thing that just pisses me the fuck off. But anyways, so I ended up posting a picture of him and I. First picture that I've ever posted with him in his face, because, you know, I always tell females, when you guys post those pictures with your niggas and cover their face, you know, you're helping them cheat. Like, you know what I mean? I was helping him cheat on me. Like, I really was. I was helping him cheat the hell on me, like, completely. It was just, I got disrespected completely in this relationship, and it was just disgusting. And, you know, you're gonna find out everything, like, after. I'm telling you guys what I was feeling and the stuff that I was going through, and then you're gonna know what unraveled in the end. I don't know if you guys will be as surprised as me, but this shit was pretty hurtful. But anyways, okay, so yeah, that was my biggest regret, him meeting my uncle. I was like, nah, man, like, you know, that hurts that he's the last person my uncle saw me with, but whatever. He met my whole family. I posted the picture, and all of a sudden, all these girls that don't fuck with me and used to fuck with him screenshotted the picture. So obviously that's gonna run red flags for somebody, or you in a relationship, you being a female or a male. If 3 people that don't fuck with you but used to fuck with your nigga or your girl, you post the first picture ever and they all screenshot it. So to me, that was like, okay, why did they do this? Like, what is the reason behind this? Sent it to him. He's like, oh, don't even entertain it. They're just being this. They're just being that. Da 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 da. Blah blah blah. I even went about my way and asking the female, like, hey, like, why did you do this? Like, she went out of her way. She went out of her way to add me on Snapchat and add my username, and she typed in my name, added me on Snapchat, watched my story, screenshotted it, and then unadded me. Like, okay. But she didn't reply to the message, so I was like, okay, fuck it, whatever. So I asked him. He was like, oh, don't worry about it, they're being extra. I told you this, this, that, and the third. I told you this would bring drama. All this stupid shit. Dumb. And yeah, that's what I was told. And so because I was so trusting with this man. I was like, all right, whatever. If you say it's nothing to worry about, it's nothing to worry about. So relationship kept going, and then he ended up going to a new school. So he was going to a new school all the way in the States. If you guys don't know where I live in Toronto, and so he was going to his school. And it was funny because literally the second day that he was at his school, I remember I took a nap. Like, I remember this. I took a nap, and it was the beginning of July. I took a nap, and I got a Snapchat that said, when you want to FaceTime your girl, but she's busy or asleep, or something like that. That's what the Snapchat said. And I seen he FaceTimed me twice. And then I remember this. I was sitting on my bed. My mom was doing her makeup, and I FaceTimed him back, and he was playing the piano, because that's what, he played a little bit of piano, and he was playing the piano in some type of room. And then I heard a female voice talk about, like, say something to him, or say something, and she's like, yeah, are you on the phone? And he's like, yeah, I'm on the phone with my friend. So off the bat, that was like, what the fuck? Even my mom was like, friend, even my mom was like, what the fuck? And I just ignored it, because I'm like, okay, whatever, you're at a new school, like, I'm gonna let you be, it's okay, like, whatever. So he ended up hanging up the phone on me, and that was the last time that I spoke to my boyfriend on a consistent basis. Like, that was the last day, that day was the cutoff, like, for like more than 2, 3, 4 weeks. I would not get a reply. He wouldn't message me. He would leave me on red, and if he did reply to me, it was like I was a hoe. Like, you know how you treat your hoes? Like, it was like, oh, you're looking like a snack today. THX. Okay, what the fuck? What are you doing? Studying. Like, okay. If I called, none of my calls were being answered. And I constantly had to just be like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Like, this is not cool. And he would be like, oh, you're overreacting, I'm busy, I'm at a new school, my schedule. But he would constantly snap, I'm bored. He would be chilling. He wouldn't even be like doing anything. So that obviously raised red flags again. I'm like, what the fuck? And I went into a slow, like, depression, because I just felt like, somebody that made me so happy, somebody that was, making me feel so amazing, now you're like completely, like, I don't even ask for much. I asked for you to message me in the morning and make sure that you went to sleep at night. That's what I asked for. I used to have to beg to talk to that nigga. Like, I used to have to be like, can you please call me when you're home, or can you do this, can you do that, please? And he'd be like, yeah, and then he wouldn't, and be like, sorry, I fell asleep. Obviously that was a huge problem. And all the times, I probably tried to break up with him 6 times. Not even, I think I'm over exaggerating, maybe 3 to 4 times, and every single time he would be like, no, 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 no. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you're obviously, like, there's obviously something you don't care about. Like, you don't care about me right now, and it's just not cool. I'm not dealing with it. He constantly was like, no, 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 no. So I was like, whatever, fuck this. So we have this thing in Toronto called Caravana, and that's like a thing where it's like a whole Caribbean festival type shit. Everybody goes, and before him and I even started our relationship, as in when he officially made me his girlfriend, before all of that stuff, me and him would talk about it, and I said, I don't have a problem with you dancing with females. Like, I don't, when it comes to me and my nigga, like, I don't have a problem with my nigga dancing at the club with any girl. Like, I don't, as long as you know your boundaries, you're fine. Like, you're fine. And me and him, we would always talk about it, and he'd be like, yeah, I don't got a problem either. And we always talked about, like, if I seen him, I would amp him out, because I'm like, yes, get it, like, and he said the same. So the day before Caravana, he decided to call me, and that was like his first time calling me in, like, I'm gonna say a week. And I tried, every time he tried to call me, or every time I talked to him, I'd try to prolong the conversation, because I'm like, bro, like, what the fuck? hello, like, you know, nigga. I would try to make the conversation as long as possible because, you know, I love that, like, I loved him, like, you know. Oh, I even forgot something. Like a week, maybe, was it a week? I think a week before Caravana, I brought up the proposition of having an open relationship because I was like, I can't do this anymore and I feel like you don't love me. So, I mean, are you about doing an open relationship? Because if you don't want to break up, like, then what the hell is it? Like, you're not paying attention to me. Is there somebody else that is done? And he was like, nah, I love you. There's nobody else, blah, 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 this and that and the third. And he's like, I would never want to do an open relationship. Ray tay tay. And then a couple days later, he asked me if we could really do the open relationship thing. Like, okay, nigga, you just told me and I was so happy that you did not want to do one, and then now obviously you found somebody you want to fuck or do something with. Clearly, like, what's the point of you being with me? So I brought it up again and I was like, yo, what the fuck? Like, you know, like, I already said this to you 2 days or 3 days ago, and now you're coming back and bringing it to me. Like, clearly there's somebody that you want to do something with in your school, what's the even point? He's like, oh, you're over exaggerated, oh, you're so extra, and it just started up an argument because I'm like, bro, okay, I get it, I proposed it, but then you said no. So I'm like, okay, fuck it, I didn't even want to do it in the first place. It was more benefiting you because you're not near me. Like, nothing, like, fuck. Anyways, so Caravana comes along and he called me, and I remember he was in his locker room and all his niggas looked at the camera and they were like, oh, y'all look related. We don't look anything alike, but whatever. And then he's like, yeah, my sister, some stupid shit, and I was just like, oh, I'm not dealing with this. So I literally told him I'm going to Caravana, this and that, and he's like, okay, say no more, have fun, whatever. So Caravana comes. I feel comfortable as fuck because I'm ready to dance. I'm dancing in the street. I'm dancing with niggas. I feel no ways. I dance with niggas. Yes, niggas. And I was dancing with this one guy. And my girlfriend recorded the video. She recorded the video of me dancing with the guy. And she posted it on her Snapchat. And maybe an hour goes by and I'm getting a text. I fucking can't believe this shit. What the fuck? Da da da. We're done. You talk about this. You talk about respect. Da 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 da. This and this that. Da 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 da. Going off on me. He sent me the video. What the fuck is this? Da 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 da. And I'm like, what? What? My nigga, like, we just talked about this. You already knew I was coming to Caravana. You already knew I was dancing. Like, what the fuck? Like, are you serious about this right now? Like, I was going boom. Like, I was like, yo, are you serious? Like, the shit that he was texting me, like, oh, he was like, I'm fucking done with you. He's like, oh, make a YouTube video about me. Okay, nigga, I am. It took like a year, but I am. But yeah, he was going crazy. Like, he was just going buck for no, because he's seen a video of me dancing with a nigga after we already had this conversation a million times that I wasn't a dance in the first place. Whatever. So basically, that's what he did. He talks about the fact, oh, we're fucking done, you disrespected me, da 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 da. And then I started crying because I'm like, bitch, what the fuck? So I started crying because I thought that I just lost the love of my life. I'm like, no, there's no fucking way. So then I'm like, this can't, like, I'm all emotional, crying the whole entire time. I probably cried like until I got home. I was still crying when I got home, and that was from like 4 p.m. So I was crying, and I got home at like 12 a.m. So I was crying the whole time. Like, the whole time I was bawling on the fucking bus. I was begging. Like, I was like, bro, please don't fucking leave. Like, never again will I ever beg for a nigga like that. Just let that be known. Never. Anyways, so I'm like, what the fuck? What did I do? I was like regretting everything. I'm like, brushing the fucking came. I was going buck. Like, I was going crazy, beating myself up because I'm like, bro, this wasn't even worth it. This and that, blah blah blah. Okay, so I was like, no, this is not right. So I'm like, who even sent this video? Because it wasn't like he screenshotted the video and then, like, he doesn't even have the shorty on Snapchat. So I watched the video again, and it was his niggas recording the fucking the Snapchat and send it to him. And these dumbasses, because I wouldn't even be dumb enough to record my voice and everything in the background of a fucking video, and send it to my nigga or send it to my bitch. Like, I would zip. Cause no, I already knew who those niggas that did that shit were, and I went off. I went on Snapchat, I went off. I was cussing everything. I could have ruined so many things, and I was going off. And I guess he knew, so his best friend or whatever knew a secret about him and was like, bro, if you don't shut her up, I'm gonna tell her about you. Okay. So then I wake up in the morning and I'm getting text messages from this nigga letting me know this is the most this nigga's talked to me in the past like 2 months. So I'm getting texts from this nigga talking about, what the fuck are you doing? Stop it. And the whole role switched. I was like, fuck off, leave me the fuck alone. Oh, but you broke up with me, right? Like, I was going off on him because I'm like, bitch, no, you're not about to do this to me. Who the fuck do you think? You're not my man no more. So, bitch, what the fuck? So I was going, it was like the roles return. He's like, bro, we could work on this. You're talking at your ass, nigga. Like, so anyways, sorry, yo, this is actually funny. Like, this is funny because niggas really played me, yo. Okay, so then then I was just cussing. I was like, bro, I don't want to fucking talk to you, whatever, I'll fucking stop, whatever, So I deleted everything because I'm like, let me not ruin anything. Like, let me just delete all this shit. So I did. So a couple days passed and whatever, and I think like one of my friends are friends with the friend, and basically he told him like the nigga has a whole shorty back at his new school, like a whole girlfriend, my nigga, like a whole wife up, been together girlfriend. Like, pardon, bitch? Excuse me? So my friend called me and my friend was like, just done the situation, don't even bother with the nigga, this and don't do that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? So he told me, yes, man has a girl. And I'm like, no the fuck he doesn't. No, he doesn't. And she's like, yes, Key, I'm not lying, blah, blah, blah. And he messaged me. He's like, so I'm back. You're not going to come see me? And I'm like, sure, no problem. Like, I'll come see you, whatever, because I wanted to know what the fuck was going on. So I told my best friend, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm going. Like, I'm going to go. So I went with the mentality of cussing this nigga out. Let it be known it was his birthday soon, and I bought him, his phone broke, and I bought him an iPhone, a 7, I think. A 7 Plus. I think I got him a 7 Plus. I bought him a whole phone, and he didn't even know. I don't even think I told him to this day. Like, but I bought him an iPhone 7 Plus, and I left that shit in my bag. So I'm like, let me see this nigga. Like, let me see this shit. Okay, so I got to the hotel, whatever, and he hugged me and all this stuff, and I was just like looking at him with like so much hate, because I'm like, bro, are you fucking serious? Like, I wanted to kill him so bad. And I was looking at him. He was like, so you're not gonna give me a hug? You didn't miss me? And I'm like, I need to ask you a question before like all this shit, because if what I'm hearing is correct, like, what? He's like, okay, what's up? So I'm like, okay, do you have a girlfriend at your school that, like, you know, I don't know about? Like, and he was like, what the fuck? No, blah, blah, blah. Just feeding me lies, y'all. Like, feeding me lies. Talking about, I put it on my mom, I put it on my sister. Why would I ever do that? I love you, blah, blah, blah. Fuck you. Anyways, so I believed it like a dumbass. I believed him. I'm like, okay. And my ass was crying and be like, I can't believe it. I believed you. Like, if you really did that to me, I love you so much. Like, I'm crying like a little pussy. Like, I'm actually so, like, I look back at my, like, that key, and I'm like, bitch, get up. Like, yo. He was hugging me, whatever. He's like, no, it's okay. Like, I love you, blah, 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 this, that, and the third, all this stuff. So, whatever, his birthday came up, right? So I went back home. He let me know we still never had sex before. Like, this, at this point, like, we did not do anything. And so I was like, okay, whatever. So his birthday came up, whatever. I sent him a nice ass, like, birthday message. He asked me, he was like, for my birthday, can you come and spend the night with me, this and that. I was like, yeah, no problem, like, you know. And this is when I think my relationship is smooth as fuck, right? So he basically ended up I messaged him this long ass paragraph, and he was like, he messaged me a heart back. Okay, all right. So I was like, oh, okay, what the fuck. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So my aunt calls me, and my aunt's like, hey, you know, because my family loved him, let it be known, like, they loved the fuck out of my ex. Like, they did, and I'm not gonna lie. And well, they fucking hate him now, but I mean, they did like him a lot. And so my aunt was like, we're having a party and we would really love for him to come. So I was like, okay, no problem. So I told him about it. He's like, yeah, I want to come, da da da. Okay, say no more. So something happened, and he didn't end up coming, and I think he went to a party. So basically it was his birthday night, and they went to the club or whatever. And like, oh my god, so there were like these females at the club. Like, I swear to god, I would have ran up at the club and beat every bitch's ass, but whatever. They were like being petty, like towards the whole, like, me being his girlfriend, whatever. They're being petty and making these Snapchats, all that stuff, and he knew that they were doing it purposely and all that dumb shit. And I was just like, bro, this is not funny. Like, this is not funny. There was a snap of him dancing with a girl. I was like, okay, whatever, the fuck. I didn't really care about it. I was like, okay. And then so the day after was my party, like my family's party. So I basically told him the address and all that stuff, and that's just that. I told him the address and everything, but he never showed up. He said, oh, he can't show up or some stupidness. And then his brother ended up calling me while I'm there, and his brother ended up calling me, and his brother was like, Kierra, like, I have to talk to you. So I was like, okay. And let me tell you guys something. Like, this, what I'm about to tell you guys, like, this is probably this is probably the most disgusting thing that you could do to somebody's emotions. This is the most nasty thing that I think a person could do to a person, because it's like, you know how much this person cares about you, and you doing this alone, and what occurred after is just disgusting. But okay, so his brother called me, and his brother was like, Kierra, I have to tell you something. And I'm like, okay, what's up? And he's like, but you promise, like, you know, like, you have to just be okay and all this stuff. Like, he's just being mad weird. And I was like, what happened? He was like, fuckboy cheated on you. So I was like, what do you mean he cheated on me? He's like, he doesn't know what happened, but I was there, and he brought a girl back to his hotel room, or he was like something about they had sex, and I don't think he remembers it, but I just wanted to tell you. Like, he's like some dumb shit. So I was like, what the fuck? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I was so confused, because I'm like, are you serious? And I cried. I was crying. I'm at, like, to me, like, you already know I'm at my family's gathering, and you have no sort of type of sympathy and like empathy of where I'm at, where, like, what's going on. You have not, like, there's nothing. You have no sort of, like, respect of where I am. You just don't care. So I start crying, and I go outside, and I'm crying, and I'm crying, and I'm crying. And I remember my cousin coming outside and was like, oh, what's wrong? And I'm like, oh, he cheated on me, like, but he doesn't remember. He was drunk. And I'm like, you know what, I understand, like, you know, we've been in a relationship, and me and him haven't had sex before, so I guess, like, you know, he did that shit, you know, wanting to. I was so naive and dumb, and that's just upsetting of how retarded I was. And, like, believe, like how much I believe this person. And basically I was like, it's okay, like everybody makes mistakes, and you know, I don't blame him. So I messaged him and I said that to him, and he was like telling me, like, I was like going ham. I'm like, so when you say like you love me, like, are you lying? And then he was like, Key, like, maybe what if I didn't do it on purpose, maybe I didn't do it by accident, what if it was a subconscious feeling, because I just don't, you know, I don't know if I love you, like everything. And I was just crying and crying and crying and crying, and I couldn't, like, just I couldn't deal with it. And the whole entire time, like, he was all the nasty shit he was saying, and I was just like, no, like, what the fuck, this is not like real, like, are you serious? Like, you're telling me that you don't love me, you're telling me that this, like, all of this stuff. And I was just going through it. Basically, I asked him if we could talk, because I had his gift to give him, and I wasn't gonna give him the gift that I originally gave him at all, like the iPhone. I bought him I think a teddy bear, got candy, and a card of me like confessing my feelings and basically being like, I hope, you know, we could get past this obstacle that, you know, that we're facing right now, and all that stuff. And I printed some pictures of us and I put it in a little bag and I gave it to him. And I remember when I went to go see him, I remember how happy I was to like leave my house, because I'm like, you know, we're gonna fix this, like everything's gonna be okay, all of this stuff. And basically after when I saw him, whatever, I was like, hey, and we sat down on the bed and we were talking about it. And then he was like, okay, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. And I was like, all right. And he's like, I didn't cheat on you. And so I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, I don't want to be your boyfriend, and you know, you've done nothing wrong in the relationship for me to break up with you. He was like, something that, like, excuses to make you break up with me or us to just stop talking. And I was like, I was confused, because I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, I wasn't really mad about the Caravana thing. He was like, I didn't cheat on you, I just needed you to break up with me and leave me alone. And so I said, pardon? And he was like, I just can't be your boyfriend anymore. And that crushed me. And that completely, like, I was like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And yeah, and he was like, yeah, I don't like being your boyfriend. And he told me that I'm too short. He said if I was taller, things would be different. He said I'm too extra, which I think 5 minutes of me talking, you could tell that. And we've been friends for more than 2.5 years, like, you know, and we've been dating for like 10 months, and you want to tell me, oh, I'm short, like, and I'm too extra? Like, really, nigga? Like, are you dead ass? I thought you would be different, I thought you would change, all this stuff. So I'm like, okay, what the fuck? So he ended up reading my card, and he laughed at my card, and he was like, were you serious about this? And I put on my big girl face, and I just was laughing, and I said, no, you know, I hated being your girlfriend too, and blah blah blah. Like, I went along with it. He's like, yeah, we're better off as friends. And I was like, sure, okay. And I was crushed in that moment. Like, my whole entire world was just wow. And then he even tried to, you know, have sex with me, and I allowed it to happen because I felt like, you know, maybe that's what's wrong. We weren't sexual, we weren't a sexual couple, so maybe that was wrong. Maybe if I, you know, gave him this, that he's not gonna leave me. And you know, that's not a proper way to go about things, that's not a proper way to think about things, and that's not a proper way to really accept that person, you know, that the people are in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And you know, he was a season. He was a seasonal nigga. Like, it wasn't that serious. So the story gets juicier. After that, I remember I ended up sleeping over, and I went home in the morning, and he was like how he still wants to be friends with me, all this stuff. But oh yeah, no, I forgot something. Basically, I think it was at the hotel. I think so, in the morning. I think it's in the morning time. His phone lit up, and his phone, like, it was a number, and then it said baby. And I looked at it and I was like, are you serious? And he was like, you're not my girlfriend. And I was like, oh my God. Like, it was like this completely different person that I just did not recognize at all. Not even my best friend, not even my friend. It wasn't even my, like, it was just a completely different demeanor, change, everything towards me. And it's like, bro, I didn't do anything to you. If anything, I try to accept, like, your flaws and who you are and whatever. But yeah. So then I ended up going home, and I didn't just want to completely just stop talking to him, because I'm like, you know, you're still a very important person in my life, and I have separation anxiety. So like, losing people really bothers the fuck out of me, and especially losing like somebody that I did care and love deeply. Losing them was like really hard for me to deal with. As you can see, I can't even, you know, fully like talk about it, because the feeling is just it's not a positive feeling. So the next day after we broke up officially, I went to sleep and I woke up to 23 Snapchat messages, and basically every single Snapchat message was them sending me his Snapchat of a girl, and he put, who's that? And he put like heart eyes or something like that, and it was a girl. And I was like, okay, that was quick. You know, at that point I thought, okay, this is just somebody that he wants to know or something, now that he's single, like whatever, all this stuff. Nope, it was his girlfriend. It was his other girlfriend at the other school. And yeah, after that he posted her like every single day, talks about how in love he was, and I would lie and tell you that that shit didn't hurt. Anyways, the story gets deeper, where I didn't get my period at all for about 2 months, and I thought I was pregnant. And my uncle passed away in September 29th, and I want to talk about, I'm not grateful that my uncle passed away, but I am kind of like, I'm glad it happened when it did, the timing, I guess, because it helped me get over this situation with fuckboy, so I could focus on my uncle, so I could focus on my family, so I could focus on myself. It made me mature up and be like, listen, I can't do this anymore, and I need to focus on this. Like, that hurt, you know. My uncle really, like, losing my uncle was probably the worst thing ever. It's still hard to talk about. So basically I lost him, and that was hard. And I have a video of my uncle basically cheering to my ex and basically saying, you know, keep doing your thing, blah blah blah. So I thought, you know what, my uncle did have like some sort of like path. They crossed paths more than I think twice or 3 times, because if I was with my uncle, I'd FaceTime him, my uncle would talk to him, and yeah, like, you know. So I sent him the video and I'm like, hey, like, you know, I know we're not friends or nothing right now, but I just found out that we lost Uncle Brandon, and you know, I thought that this, like, it would be nice to send you this. So I sent him the video, and all he had to say to me was, nobody said we're not friends. I also wanted to tell him that I thought I was pregnant, but I was scared because I'm like, you know, I don't want to, you know, do that. So I just thought that him saying all that was like, nobody saying and disregarding what I said. I was like, hey, this was my uncle trying to show me, like, Kiki, like, get over this, you know, this is done. I was like, okay. Left it alone. I left it alone. So a week later, I get a call from a number, and I don't know who it is, and I answer it, and it's him. And I was like, what do you want? You know, and he's like, I'm sorry, like, you know, I know you don't want to talk to me, but this, that, and the third, what do you mean he's gone? And then I started crying, because I'm like, you know, I looked at the phone, I'm like, yo, this is my best friend. Like, this is somebody that, you know, regardless of me and him being in a relationship, like, you know, this used to be one of the closest people to me in my life. So I just started crying, and I vented. And then I finally told him that I think that I'm pregnant, and what he had to say to me was, wow, so I'm gonna be a deadbeat dad. And that was disgusting. And that, I think, I lost all respect that I have for him completely. And then later on I found out that he got his other girlfriend pregnant, so I just automatically was like, okay, this situation is completely and utterly just disgusting and painful, and something that, you know, this is not healthy for me. Even being a friend, this is not healthy. And so after that, I attempted to stay friends with him, but I think he kept thinking that I wanted him or something, and that is not the case at all. I was just valuing the friendship that we once had, but I mean, fuck it. There is nothing to be rekindled because I was completely disrespected. He went back to all the females that him and I used to talk about and all this stuff and told them everything. Like, that's a bitch ass move. He lied about everything, and that to me was crazy. And he played with my feelings, he played with my mind, let alone like everything psychologically. He's a pathological liar. It was just one of the worst experiences I think I could ever go through. Like the worst mind games. Like, you know, for me it's like, if you don't want to be with somebody, don't be with them. It wasn't as hard as, like, if he told me, I would have so respected the fact that if he told me like, hey, you know, I don't get to see you every day, I don't get to talk to you, and you know, I lost feelings, and I think I want to try something with somebody else, that I would not have a problem. I'd be like, okay, like, live your life, you know what I mean? Like, look at you, you're all the way, we're in two different things. I kept telling you over and over again, like, you know, it's okay. And to know that somebody used me just for sex, to know that somebody used me just to get into my pants, hurts. It really hurts. Like, to know that he played with me and lied and said that we were together when we were never together. He lied and said like a bunch. He lied. He just lied and he 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 lied just for pussy. He waited 10, not even, we're not even gonna include the time that we were dating, 2-3 years just to lie and get into my pants. Like, that is literally it. You lied to get into somebody's, it's never that serious. Lying about being in a relationship, lying about you in general, lying saying that you love a person, like, if you really just wanted to get in someone's pants, just be honest and fucking say it. But yeah, I'm gonna end that there. So if you see this and it's just new, just know it's me adding things to the story time, or like the storyline of what happened. So I forgot to add a bunch of shit. So close to us being like close to the breaking up date, I remember I got a call basically from my cousin saying, is this your boyfriend? Or isn't this your boyfriend? And I was like, what are you talking about? And she sent me a screenshot of him on Tinder, and I sent it to him, and he was like, oh, my teammate, yo, like, okay, he was like, oh, my teammates told me that it's a really cool way to meet new people, or some stupid shit like that. Like, nigga, this is like your 3rd or 2nd year in university. Like, you should know how to fucking do that by now. But whatever. So that was that situation. Okay, another situation that happened and that occurred in this time span of him like not speaking to me and stuff. One of my girlfriends called me and basically was like, isn't this your boyfriend? And I was like, what are you talking about? And she basically said, okay, so her friend messaged him and was sending him like thirst traps and everything, and he was entertaining the fuck out of it. Like, I got screenshots and everything. He was entertaining the fuck out of it. He was like, add me on Snapchat, I don't want to talk here, all of this dumb shit. And when I heard that, I got like, my heart really dropped, and I called him and I tried to page him and be like, what the fuck is this? But he just didn't give a fuck. Like, he was just like, okay, yeah, I did that, and what? Like, and to me that was like, huh? Like, he just didn't care. He was just like, oh, yeah, I did it. Like, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to say? Like, he just didn't give a fuck. And that was really bad. Like, my whole entire, when I tell you guys I was going through it mentally, like, mentally I was depressed. Like, that, I went right back into my depression. Like, when I tell you, like, you go through, like, a person that constantly just feeds your head with lies just to get into your pants, like, that's what hurt me the most, I think, is realizing, like, this person wasn't genuine whatsoever. Like, you were never once genuine, and I really believe that he was, like, literally the devil. Like, that is who I was dealing with, and I was dancing with the devil. I like, it was just entirely just crazy. I couldn't believe anything that I still look at that situation and I'm like, what? Like, I never knew somebody could be so evil. Knowing somebody's past and knowing what somebody went through, knowing the pain that people have inflicted on that person, knowing that she suffers like I suffer from things, that just because of these situations, and you did the worst thing that you could ever do to a person and promise things that you could not promise. That's why I always tell people, and I said to him every single time he promised me something, I always said, don't make promises you can't keep. Don't promise me. Like, we would make promises, he'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna marry you, we're gonna have babies, we would talk about children all the time and everything, and I kept telling him, like, don't make promises you can't keep. He's like, I swear to you, like, you know. And there were so many moments and so many times where I thought he was being so genuine and showing me insecurities, and he just wasn't. He was just playing a fucking game. He was just playing another part. He was role playing. It was just all a part of this facade of a human being that I just don't fucking know. And it's just sad. And it's sad that people are like that. And yeah, I just had to really get that off my chest, because this is crazy. Like, when I sit here and I think about it, like, I cannot believe that somebody went through the whole entire process of everything that he did to me, the whole entire mental fuck that he did to me, just to get in my pants. Like, that to me is mind-boggling. You didn't care about my mental health, you didn't care about me as a person, you didn't care about my emotions, you didn't care about fucking shit but yourself. And that, I can't be a selfish person towards somebody. Like, I could never do that. I could never hurt somebody the way that I've been hurt before, and it pisses me the fuck off. It does. It really pisses me the fuck off that people in this world are really like that. It really does. And I swear to you, if I go through, and I probably will go through the same type of situation, but holy shit, I think every single time it happens to me, I'm still like, what the fuck? Like, did you really just do this? Like, it's just a mind fuck, guys. But yeah. Overall though, like, I'm not even, like, it's just, I'm more holding on to the fact that this really painful situation really did happen to me than I am on the whole fact that it's like, okay, you know, like, alright, life is just insane. And I think, you know, life is just built with things that, you know, God knows, I want to get on my tatted on me, God gives the toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. Because, yo, that is true. Like, God is really, like, I feel like God is purposely constantly making these niggas do me wrong, because he knows that every single time it happens, I come out a better and stronger person. And yes, I know I have my bitter moments, but I feel like that's just all a part of my learning process of becoming who I am today and who I am every single day. And yeah, that's literally everything that I had to add in. And that is the experience. And this is the last time his name, his situation, what happened to me, all of that shit ever comes out of my mouth, because I forgive him for what he did to me, but he is still not somebody that I'll ever associate myself with. And I'm done talking about it. This is me shutting the fuck up. I talked about it. It hurt. It was, you know, a very hard situation for me to go through. It was horrible knowing that I still had no trust for somebody, but I'd let myself fall in love, or I let myself get tricked again. And that's it. I'm never talking about this ever again. Never. Not even to my kids. Actually, I'm gonna talk about it to my kids, but that's it. Nothing else. Never. Ever again. So everyone kept asking me what the fuck happened, and that is what happened, and that is what Key went through. And yeah, that's basically it. I went through a situation where a nigga just didn't give a fuck about me and used me for pussy one time. just wanted a taste, and he went to go through every single like obstacle that you could ever face just to get it. But yeah, if you guys did like the story time, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. And if you guys didn't, then you could go suck your blood clot mother. And don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Ciao.